Tjena, welcome to my channel. My name is Rainer, this is Rainier Books. It's time for another weekly wrap-up. Today is Tuesday, August the 24th of 2021. Last week in week 34, I finished one book that was Open Water by Caleb Azumah Nelson, and I made a single review about it, which I can link down below. Open Water by Caleb Azumah Nelson is a very interesting debut by a British Ghanaian author, 26 years old, who has written a novel about love, about maybe the love of the narrator's life and even of the woman involved, you and she, written in the second person singular, very beautifully written in the second person singular. I have to say, usually I don't like that format, but I liked it here. It's also a story about a young man, black man in London, who has suffered from racism and from anxiety, who is mental ill at some point or to some point, and who struggles with that, a mental illness that is probably caused by post-traumatic or by stress that he was put under during his upbringing in London, by being a black guy in London. And this plays into his romance. It's also a story about black culture, about where many artists and novelists and music is discussed. I like that very much. It's a beautiful story. I really recommend Open Water by Caleb Azumah Nelson. Otherwise, I haven't finished anything. I'm just continuing reading. I am in the last half, at least, of The Undocumented Americans by Karla. I always have to look at her name here, Karla Cornejo Villavicencio, which is, she's a undocumented, she was an undocumented American. She now lives with her husband and her dog in New Haven, Connecticut. And she writes beautifully and very personal about undocumented Americans that she has visited, that she has found, that she has spent a lot of time with in different parts of the US, like in New York after 9/11. She talks to 9/11 people who have not survived 9/11, but who have worked in the aftermath of 9/11 by cleaning the rubbish. She has been to Flint, Ohio, in that horrible city, which is one of the poorest cities of the United States, where 45% of the people live under the poverty line, and where, as you know, the drinking water is full of lead and has poisoned thousands and thousands of people. I have started reading, and I have until August 30 to finish that because there's a queue. Somebody wants to have it after me in the library by Syed Masood, The Bad Muslim Discount. I have to get into that novel this week to immerse myself into that and to get some to really be able to read it. I still have, now it's closed, but I still have my Kindle here with Museum of Abandoned Secrets by Oksana Zabuzhko. My dear fellows of the Post-Soviet Book Club, has any one of you already finished the book? Please let me know. And let me know in the Facebook group or let me know down in the comments below. I'm still struggling with finding the moment of total awareness that I need. I cannot be tired. I cannot be not concentrated when I read this. It's a beautiful novel. I want to finish it, but I still need time. Please, please forgive me. It's a great book. If you like Marcel Proust, you will like Oksana Zabuzhko. I have another two books came from the library this week to me. You know, I've reserved a lot of books, and sometimes they just come in. And one of the books that came in that was a late marker, one that I reserved pretty lately, because last week I saw it, like 10 days ago, I saw the movie Nomadland by Zhang, the director, with Frances McDormand, who won her third Oscar for Best Actress in a Leading Role for that one. And I saw that it was based on a book that is called Nomad Land, Surviving America in the 21st Century. So I thought I have to read this book, Nomadland by Jessica Bruder, which was published in 2017. Surviving America in the 21st Century. I'm very interested in these kind of social issues, as you might know. I also read a book about homelessness in the beginning of this year, homelessness in the UK, which is called No Fixed Abode, which I really liked and I recommend. And I also want to read Nomadland because I didn't know that before I saw the movie, I didn't know that 3 million Americans, most of them 55 plus years old, 3 million Americans live in their RVs, their cars, and travel around the United States because you cannot afford to rent a home somewhere. I also got from the library another very interesting book that I have waited so long for that I now have 1 month to read. I gotta read this. I have to read it because I waited so long. It's the winner of the 2020 Miles Franklin Award in Australia. I'm the first one to borrow this from the Stockholm City Library, and of course there's someone after me wanting it. This is The Yield by Tara June WInch. The Yield, which is a book I have waited long for because I know that so many people out on BookTube have loved this. Yesterday I asked my daughter, please, because I bought 3 books from the book Longlist, and I asked her, please choose the next one that I should read from the book Longlist, from the 3 books that I bought, and she chose and she gave me the order to read The Promise by Damon Galgut because she thought this looks saddest from all the covers. So I should start with a sad book first. I don't know if it's sad. It looks like it a little bit. I will start with Damon Galgut as well. So there are lots of books that I read at the same time. And there are things happening in the world. As you said, or as I said before, I have watched a couple of movies. I have watched Nomadland, which is based on that book by Jessica Bruder, about people roaming through the United States, the nomads, the 3 million, unbelievable number, nomads. I have watched documentary films that I really recommend to you. I saw a documentary movie from the Philippines, which is called 1,000 Cuts, about an activist. Her name is Maria, who has tried to maintain the truth in the Philippines after the President Duterte got to power and started killing people. Everyone who was using drugs, everyone was in the focus line of his policies, and he's a very dictatorial president in the Philippines. And this movie shows 1,000 Cuts how media is suppressed in the Philippines, and especially Maria, who's a very impressive, beautiful American Filipino woman, how she is fighting against this and trying to maintain democracy. I also saw another documentary movie that I would recommend to you. I think it was nominated for the Oscar as well. It's called Coillective or Coillective in Romanian. It's from Romania. It's about a fire that broke out in 2015 in a discotheque in Bucharest in Romania. I think 20-something people died in that fire. And then in the aftermath of the fire, many people were brought into hospital and 37 people died in the hospitals. And there was one, it's also about the media being as corrupt, like in a state as Romania, corrupt in sort of syncope with the government. They're trying to suppress the truth. They're trying to put everything under a carpet there. But one sports journalist is the leading journalist. He's investigating everything there. And he finds out that the disinfectants used in hospitals in Romania at the time, 2016, 2017, were reduced, they were diluted, so that they only had like 10% of the effect they actually should have. And for that reason, the 37 people who died after the fire died not of the wounds that they have gotten from the fire, but they died from the disinfectants and from the bacteria that couldn't be fought with the disinfectants, where people made money to deliver this disinfectant to dozens of hospitals. And that was a big scandal. And it shows, Coillective is a movie that shows the syncope between the government and the media, with some exceptions, and the struggle to make a health system better. So this is what I do. And I work, of course. Work has me back, and there are lots of projects that are coming on my table now, and hopefully I can make the first business trip again in 2 years almost, in about 2 weeks from now. Maybe I can do a video somewhere else. That would be so cool for you and for me. Well, that was about it. That was all I have to say. Thanks for watching this video. What are you reading? What are your plans for the next week, for the next month? What kind of movies are you watching? Please tell me in the comments down below. Stay tuned to this channel, but most of all, folks, stay safe. Bye-bye.